Oh, hello, hello. And I believe I'm live. I hope my screen is full for you all. It isn't on my end, but again, sometimes things just look so weird. They change. Oh, there am I. For you all. It isn't on my end. Oh, okay. It looks okay in playback. So again, I'm not sure why my screen here looks weird. Ooh, let me turn that all down. Yeah, I'm not sure why things look different on my end. I swear, every time I go in here, something changes. But hopefully this is okay. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. I had struggles on Instagram Live. If any of my Janome Canada audiences here with me, I tried to do an Instagram Live today, Janome Canada Instagram Live, and something was going on within Instagram, so I could not. So luckily, Facebook, knock wood, so far seems to be okay. Oh, and yes, Mary Ella is here. Hello, hello. Great to see you all today. Time for another Wednesday, Janome Sewing Machines, Janome Sewing Classroom, Facebook Live. Yes, I'm so excited. Oh, and Anne's here from Sudbury. Hello, hello. So yes, I am Michael Smith, National Education Manager of Janome Canada. And yes, back here with Janome America, and we're streaming live again to our Janome America YouTube and Janome HQ, our Janome Canada YouTube, so we can share more of the Janome love, not only across the border, but all around the world. I love it when we get viewers from Australia. Yesterday we had a lady from Belgium here, so exciting. So yes, I am back to share again. Regardless of what your sewing machine is, there's always some fast little easy projects we can make, especially as we're getting into the new year and we're trying out maybe some new techniques. Maybe you got a new machine for Christmas and you want to try some, again, fast, easy projects to make. Well, how about this adorable little trivet? Now, trivet is, again, something we place on the table. We've got a hot casserole dish, a hot, bowl out of the oven or the microwave, or just even, again, all that beautiful crystal glassware, and we don't want to. Oh, yes, and Anne is here back from Belgium. Hello. We don't want the, again, glassware to scratch, and we don't want to scratch our table. So these cute little trivets, so simple, easy to make, regardless of your machine. I'm using the Janome Circular Sewing Attachment today, so it fits a number of machines. It doesn't have to be circular, but I thought, oh, why not? You know, so many of us have these attachments, all these decorative stitches in our machine, and we wonder, when am I going to use all of this? Well, there, these trivets, fast, super simple to make, great gift idea too. So let me flip around very quickly and share. Now I'm back on my fabulous Janome CM17, of course. There we go. But again, this project can really be made on any machine. It's up to you. So here, yes, my fabulous CM17. And again, we're going to do the circular sewing attachment. Now, I've demoed this many, many times. You can go on the Janome Life blog and our respective YouTube channels, many previous Facebook Live presentations. This is the circular sewing attachment for 9mm machines, or specifically for easy set bobbin models. So circular sewing attachment, again, full instruction in the blister pack. And look how bulky this is and so weird to store. So come back towards the end of the month and I'm going to show you how to make some cute little bags to store all of this. So in the easy set model, again, this is our bobbin cover that is on our machine, and there is the part number for the easy set model of circular sewing attachment. And again, there's 3 different types, and it's all based on this bobbin cover. So here, when I remove my bobbin cover for my easy set, do you see how this metal base plate replaces that bobbin cover? There's a little screw that comes with the easy set model that goes into the threaded screw hole, of the machine there. Just tighten that down. Perfect. Now, the other circular sewing attachments, again, you can go back to review previous Janome Life blogs, videos, go on to our accessory guide. You'll see they don't have a little screw. They just attach into the bobbin area here. This is a square bobbin cover, and this is a rectangular bobbin cover, but it's not easy set. Easy set refers to the little thread cutter that's down here. That's the easy set, as we call it, with that little thread cutter. So check your instruction manual and check our Janome accessories guide. Check with your Janome dealer what kind of machine you have, what bobbin cover. Simply take the bobbin cover to your Janome dealer and say, I need a circular sewing attachments to fit that. So that is great. So the really fun thing about using the circular sewing attachment here, it has this ruled guide and this cute little pin under this little top hat, as I call it, a very sharp pin. So we can move this, is the center point of our circle. We can move this along the guide. It'll go down to about 2 inches in diameter here, and then we can go all the way up. It's approximately about 11¼ inches out. So we can do a pretty big circle. So for our trivet, again, we could use any fabric, but how about, some leftovers? This trivet can be, again, if we're using the circular sewing attachment, again, it can go up to about 11 inches diameter. So 11 inches all the way around. So again, that's pretty big. Whatever size, again, you would like. You could ultimately make it any size, make it square, and not use the circular sewing attachment. But again, any kind of scrap. So here I just pieced together some scraps that I had of this Janome fabric left, and just added a little piece to make it big enough. And then from my top, well, gee, this looks familiar, doesn't it? If you were with me here, I did a string quilt. How to make this string quilt very fast and easy. Oh, this was a leftover block. Well, how about it becomes a trivet then? So great way to use up your scraps as well. So in this case, I've made my finished square here is 8 inches. Now to mark the center then of your trivet to use your circular sewing attachment, I don't want to, again, we just want to measure. So in this case, I measured 4 inches in and 4 inches in to find my center. We could also, simply just do this really mathematic, fold our strip this way, fold our piece this way, fold our piece this way, boom, to find the center. I put this little piece of cellophane tape down on my fabric first then, and then I put my dot, my pencil dot. I didn't want to mark up my fabric here, so I put the piece of tape down, marked the center, and layer all my fabric together. So my backing is bigger, and then I have a layer of, this is just some 80/20 batting that I had left over. You could use a variety of filling, anything again to help protect your table. So batting, yes, or how about this is some flannel, so it'll be a little bit less bulky. Oh, and my sister Deb is here. Hello, hello. Or how about some fusible fleece? We could fuse that to the back of the fabric to help stabilize it. And add a little loft. This is, again, some other types of batting, 100% cotton. And this is what I have in between as well. I have one layer of batting, and this is this thermo batting, basically, that it has this reflective, shiny coating on one side to help reflect that heat. So it's not completely heat proof. They do suggest you follow your manufacturer's instructions. You get this from your, again, Janome dealer, your craft store, fabric store, and you follow the manufacturer's instructions. Now it says, again, this is for a little bit of heat resistance, but it's not completely 100% heat resistant, not 100%. So we have to use some sort of batting as well to help protect. So this is why you can layer this up, a couple of layers. So really, really fun to do. So having that reflective layer, again, don't put this in the microwave. Having that reflective layer, again, will just kind of bounce back some of the heat to our dishes here. And then we take our sandwich, and again, we just spear very carefully spear. So this little center mark, boom, I spear it. There we go. And then we take our little top hat, back onto that very sharp spear. And then we can loosen up the guide and bring our project under the machine here. And I just want to bring it, I just want to bring it under my needle. I don't know why my screen on my end is so small, but hopefully this is all good for you. So I just want to bring in my strip again, just so I have enough to go all the way around. So the circular sewing attachment, again, I demoed this a number of times, so this will be a really quick demo. So I know this will go through, so no problem here. Now, because we're going to be using some built-in decorative stitches to the machine, again, we're going to use that open toe F2 satin stitch foot with the groove on the underside to let those stitches form and go through easily. I have the closed toe F foot on my machine right now. And after I decide where I want my fabric to go, you reach under and you lock this little that little trap door. Very important. Now straight stitch here, just a regular straight stitch. But because I'm going through all those layers of that thermo batting and the extra layer of batting, instead of this 2.4 stitch length, I'm going to go up at least to a 3.0. In this case, I'm going to go all the way up to a 3.5. This is just a long stitch. It could even be a little longer, up to 5.0 as a basting stitch, just to hold these layers together. And you'll see, whenever I have thicker layers, I like to put my hand on this little top hat just to help keep it down. And I'm using my right hand here just to smooth out my fabric. We really don't want to manipulate this too much, but I'm just helping keep my fabric all smooth down. Maybe if we need to, we could use the AccuFeed Flex foot, the even feed foot, dual feed foot for your machine. Or then we could also lighten the pressure of our presser foot if need be. And I do have just a tiny little wrinkle in here, but I'm not going to worry about it. And again, we don't want to really manipulate our layers too much, then it can go a little wonky. So again, how simple, how easy is that? So I just made this long stitch, so stitched around in a circle. So now I can go whatever measurement you would like. I really don't refine this too much. I don't really get into measure. I go, where do I want my next line of stitching from this outer edge? Now we want to bring in our next row of stitching. In this case, I bound this trivet using the Janome quilt binder set, which I'll demo very quickly. And this binding finishes about 1/2 inch. So depending on how we're going to finish the edge of our trivet, and in this case, again, a 2-inch strip of binding was folded down. It's about 1/2 inch finished. So we don't want to bother doing a row of decorative stitches too close to the end, because our binding will end up covering it anyway. Ask me how I know. Don't bother to do that. You bring your stitches in. Oh, in this case, again, we could measure if we want to do this precise. Let's say 1 inch with my little Janome ruler here. I'm going to bring in my next row of stitching 1 inch, and then I lock it into place. So I was measuring from the edge of this previous line of stitching out to my needle. So that is 1 inch. So then I reach under my fabric here and make sure I lock that into place. I haven't moved my project from my circular sewing attachment here. Now, again, decorative stitches, we can do any that we wish. But in this case, I'll do something really quickly. Some will match up better than others, so you really experiment. So in this case, I'll just do it really quickly, this little serpentine kind of stitch, something really quick. We don't want to do anything really too dense, because it's just going to take longer to stitch out. And then again, we don't really need it to be super dense here in this case. So try to do this quickly. So we just stitch around and around and around in a circle. And again, I just like to hold my finger here on that little top hat, just because the bulk sometimes can make it slip off a little bit. So it's super simple to do. Again, the kids, this would be a great project to do with the kids or the grandkids. They would absolutely love to see this. Go round and around and around. And again, a great, making these trivets, great practical use, or a great for a giveaway, a church bazaar, great to give away as a gift. Someone moves in, you know, to your neighborhood and you just want a fast, easy gift, then why not? So as we get a little bit closer here to my beginning line of stitching, again, some stitches will line up better than others. So you just experiment, and it always helps when you don't have a camera in front of you. You can get a little bit more accurate. I'm going to try to get, right on my previous line of stitching. I'm just walking the balance wheel by hand, or, you know, for our continental machines, this is also a great time. We could do needle up and down, or we can also use this thumb wheel and hover the needle over the fabric so we can see, will my stitch, you know, just intersect with my previous line of stitching? And we say, okay, yes, it will. I'm not going to cut my threads, me personally. Instead, I'm going to now remove this all and leave these long thread tails, because on this little trivet, it really won't matter, but I personally like to just thread up a hand sewing needle. Look at that. They overlapped beautifully. Oh, that just worked so well. And again, I just thread up this self-threading needle, and then I will bury this thread. I'll just, you know, tuck it in here, and then I'll, you know, bring it out of this. I conveniently have a seam right there. So it just makes it, again, from the right side, it just makes it neater. And then same on the back side, I'll just pull my thread through and then bury that thread. It just makes it a little neater, especially if you're going to give these away to people. You want them, you never know if they're going to examine your sewing really closely. But again, that turned out beautifully. So it's a really, really fun, fast, easy project to do. And again, with your circular sewing attachment, you just experiment how your stitches will line up. Well, then, even while your, you know, project, if I could do this quickly here, even while your project is in your circular sewing attachment here, you can take your big, these are our big 9-inch Janome dressmaking shears from our Janome scissor kit. You can leave your project in your circular sewing attachment to make it a little easier, and you're going to trim. This is why we did this line of stay stitching. Basically, the very first line we did, we're going to come in here, and you see how easy this is using that circular sewing attachment. I'm just pivoting my project around, trimming away, boom, trimming away all of that. So that works so well. And again, just close to that line of stitching. So that's why we did that line of stitching in the first place. So works out really, really well. So now, very quickly, because time is flying by. So we remove the circular sewing attachment, and again, we can pop it up very conveniently. A lot of the times I put this up on the magnets here of the CM17. My circular sewing attachment can go right up there and no problem. Now for the quilt binder attachment, it attaches in the same way as circular sewing attachment Again, this base plate, there is another another quilt binder attachment, again, a rectangular bobbin cover, but it is not easy set. So we double check with our Janome dealer to get the correct one for our machine. So there's lots of blogs on Janome Life blog, including a video. There's several videos actually, but I'm trying to include more videos on the Janome Life blog directly. So then you don't have to go searching, clicking on YouTube. You can watch the video directly on the blog. And as well, many videos in the Janome America YouTube and Janome Canada YouTube, Janome HQ, that I'm just screwing these in again very quickly. So then you'll be able to watch the process of doing especially the mitered corners, as everybody wants. Now, our quilt binder attachment does come with the W1 foot, but in this case, I'm still going to leave my satin stitch foot on. And when I'm doing binding, I love using, boom, the Janome tape stand here to roll up the binding. Look at this, so nice and beautiful, to roll up the binding so it's not all over the floor and it's just going to come off like that. Isn't that perfect? So it makes it so good, so easy. The Janome, boom, there it is, tape stand. And regardless of what kind of binding you do, and there is the part number, even if you're doing traditional French fold binding, you can still use this tape stand. It just works so well. Again, the binding's not going all over the floor. The cat's not playing with it. So again, very quickly, then we just simply bring this binding in here. And again, we would review the instructions. There's full instructions in the blister pack, as well as, again, many blogs. I'm going very fast here because time is going by very fast. And again, you can read the blogs and watch the videos for more information, specifically how to use the quilt binder. But it works so simple, so easy. Then we can use, really any stitch. It doesn't have to be a straight stitch. I did this kind of like serpentine stitch here that is in our, let's see, quilt stitch. I like to write myself notes when I'm resuming a project here. So if you like something, yes, take down little notes and then a little sample of your stitching so you know exactly what you did. So I did stitch number 9 is this serpentine-like stitch here in my quilt category of my CM17. A number of our machines have this stitch built into it. Now I can also go in and refine it, and I think I made mine, yes, 6.0 width. And I left it at 2.0 length, but we can go in and refine it if we need to. If we needed to lighten the pressure on our presser foot here, you'll see the icon there, the presser foot with the arrow going down. If we want to increase the pressure, we would hit plus. Or if we want to decrease, the average is set at 6. If I just wanted to lighten up the pressure on my presser foot, I can decrease it here. So whatever we need to do, in which case I'm just going to leave it as is. But if we needed to, we could adjust it there. And here on the CM17, we could adjust it here in our middle screen as well. So whenever we do our binding, again, you can do your little test sample first. How is... Oh, and of course, my thread broke. Doesn't that figure as I'm trying to rush? But this is real life. It happens. So first you do your little test sample of your stitches to make sure it's exactly how you want it. There we go, live on air, even with my giant bulky quilt binder attachment. I didn't need to remove it to use my automatic needle threader of my CM17. All I did was just follow the instructions. And it worked. So yes, as we do our little test sample here, I will just do this little bit just to test. I had a little seam. I wanted to get rid of that little seam. There we go. And cut my threads. So you'll see as it goes through the binder, as the fabric goes through the binder, it folds in. There's the underside folded in, the top side folded in. So it basically folds the strip in half, or it folds in the raw edges in thirds, and then it folds it in half. And you'll see my bottom strip is just a little bigger than my top strip, but there is that beautiful serpentine stitch. Now, I am going to go around a circle. Here is a previous, another little sample. Now these, you know, you don't throw anything away. These little bits could be cutoffs that you could use for more string quilts, more string trivets in this case. So again, everything just gets recycled, maybe throw away your batting. But yes, everything gets recycled. So here is my other previous little sample. Isn't that adorable with the coffee cups there? And again, the circular sewing attachment, wow, it turned out really good. The joints here are so good, but this is why I like to take the time. Can maybe see up there. I take the time again to thread up that hand sewing needle. That's where my stitches overlapped. It really doesn't look that bad, does it? Because I took the time to hand sew it just to secure those threads. So even though I'm going to use this quilt binder attachment and this it's a 2-inch strip. Whoops. It's a 2-inch strip, but it finishes again about 1/2 inch. Now, because I'm going to go around in a circle, normally we would use our strip. Our strip would be cut on the bias. But because this is a big circle, in this example here, this circle is 9.5 inches, that I found, oh, I really didn't need to use the bias binding. I was okay to use the straight of the grain strip because I had a big circle. If I was doing a little circle, yes, I would probably want a bias binding, but in this case, it's a big circle, so I was doing okay. So let's adjust this a little bit. I just want to make sure my strip does not come out of the top. There we go. And again, we could use any presser foot. I'm just keeping on my F2 foot here. And basically what we're doing is keeping the bulk of our project here into the mouth of the binder. There's the mouth of the binder. And I'm wedging my little trivet here into the mouth of that binder. And I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing done. And I'm running out of binding strips anyway. So I'm just going to finish this here. And again, as we go around and around and around, and I could have made it. I was worried I was going to run out. I could have made it perfectly fine to overlap. This is what I do, is that I overlap where I started. So I had started on this side and I stitched all the way around, and then I just cut it off. Typically, in this case, it would have just overlapped. I typically glue this strip back. I glue it back like that, so it's a finished edge. So then, in this case, I would have been too short anyway, just a little bit. So then, yes, then I overlap it like that. And again, this side would be under like that. Boom. So then you just overlap it. And in this case, my stitches overall worked out pretty good. Again, I leave long thread tails and I hand sew up that little bit of binding. Now, because again, this is a curve, then it was curving up just a little. I would have taken a little bit more time. Again, I just get a little bit of buckling right here as I was rushing doing my demo. So do take your time as you're going around this curve so that you don't get your strip twisted and buckling, as I did a little bit there. Just again in a hurry. It came out perfectly fine. Again, I didn't need to worry about this. Was not a bias strip, a piece of fabric. Because again, I was doing a bigger circle, then it ended up being okay. I just took my time to stitch it. So then again, I didn't get some buckling here, but it worked out really, really good. So again, there's lots of blog posts and videos on the quilt binder attachment. And oh, of course, we can also, when we're talking about rows and rows and rows of decorative stitches, again, I end up sounding like a broken record. We can use our, again, border guide foot. I just demoed this again yesterday, is again, rows and rows and rows of stitching, and we can follow the guides on our foot for those parallel rows of stitching. So, oh yes, the fabulous Amy Meek is here. Yes, those 9mm stitches really help. Yes, absolutely. That it's so beautiful. There's so many things we can do. The cool thing about the border guide foot, for example, available for 7 and 5mm machines. Again, quilt binder will work with a number of machines. Circular sewing attachment works with a number of machines. There's so many. So regardless of your model, you know, you could make very fast, easy projects like this too, using whatever you either have around your house right now, or that maybe you will get in the future, and get everything, of course, from your fabulous Janome dealer, so we know it's authentic Janome parts. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. It's so wonderful to see you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week. I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.